We're continuing our study on establishing a sacred marriage, and we got to this third point that marriage is our teacher in the sacred truths of God. Not just about marriage, it's the truths that are universal in our life, that we apply in every area of our life. And one of the truths that we talked about was marriage reveals the truth of submission. In Ephesians 5:21-22, it teaches us that. And then we said that marriage it reveals the truth of authority in verse 23 through 24 of Ephesians chapter 5. Because if you don't get the principle of authority down, you won't. That's what life is. We're underneath something and someone all the time. And it creates rebels if we don't get the principle of authority. And then marriage reveals the truth of unconditional love. How that we're to love our wife like Christ loved the church with this totally unconditional love, forgiving love of God. And wives love your husbands that way. And then we see that marriage reveals the truth of sanctification. And the fact that verse 26-27 talks about that our marriage sanctifies, that we're to sanctify our wives with the Word and the washing of the Word, and the church is sanctified. And so marriage puts us in a situation where it reveals our weaknesses and sanctifies us and strengthens us. And then we see today is that marriage reveals the truth of selfless love. Verse 28-29 of Ephesians says, "So ought men to love their wives, even as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord the church." And so we see a selfless love should be what we live. In other words, listen to me carefully. Selfishness will destroy your marriage. You and I should never live in a selfish state when we're dealing with one another in our marriage. Now, I'm talking about in every realm, should not be driven with selfishness, not for self-gratification, not for self-satisfaction. But you and I, marriage teaches us how that we ought to love our wives like we do our own bodies. We take care of our bodies and nourish our bodies, and we cherish our bodies. And even as the Lord, the church does that. The Lord nourishes us. The Lord cherishes us. The Lord loves us. And so did Jesus love us with a selfless love? Absolutely. He loved us with a selfless love. He gave himself to the church. And so when we're thinking about this whole thing about marriage being a sacred thing, it's teaching us something, okay? And so right now, I just encourage you to take this truth and apply it this week, use it, and then share it with someone, okay? Do that right now. Right as you get off here, go ahead and share it with somebody, and let's help other marriages out, okay? And we'll see you next week on this blog.